Shut up and sit down.
Good evening everyone, it's your man of the hour, the Tower of Power, the living legend of professional wrestling punditry. Hello, my name is Lee Hazel and this is the SteelChair Shot, where we stare into the abyss between what fans want from a wrestling product and everything that WWE actually puts out this week. Survivor Series 2016. And you know, it's funny, I started this vlog because for such a long time, WWE seemed so resistant to giving their long-time hardcore fans, the industry whales who spend the most money on merch and tickets, what they want. But the very minute that I'd start the show, they started giving it to them. Japan's Finn Balor, New Japan's Finn Balor, he's the Universal Champion, or at least he was before Seth Rollins injured him. And TNA's AJ Styles is now WWE World Heavyweight Champion. The Cruiserweight Classic was the best I felt about WWE in years. Since probably watching my first NXT special. Even Roman Reigns' career seemed to be on the downswing, but they couldn't keep it up for long, could they? Welcome back, WWE. Welcome back. Okay, firstly, 2-hour pre-show. No, fuck that. You can take that back faster than the copy of last year's Call of Duty you got for this year's Christmas. Fuck off forever. Now, secondly, the pre-show matches. TJ Perkins, Rich Swann, and Noam Dar defeated Drew Gulak, Tony Nese, and Daivari. Still working on the pronunciation of that guy's first name. Now, I think the thing really holding back the Cruiserweight division, as we stand right now, might be the name itself. The word Cruiserweight carries with it the expectation of corkscrew flips and 550 splashes. But it's clear to me that this is a far more indie-centric, technically sound, NXT light segment of the show. And personally, I'm glad that it exists in this form. This was a fun match to watch, and I think they're finally getting their styles in sync with WWE's style. In the next match, Kane defeats Luke Harper. Now, I can give this one a pass because it only really matters if you defeat Kane when Kane looks like an unstoppable monster, which he can only look like if he beats guys like Luke Harper. But then again, isn't that what Luke Harper is supposed to be too? They've booked themselves into a corner with this one, and Luke Harper is the guy who got sacrificed. I guess for Kane it's RHIP. Rank has its privileges. Finally, the real show starts, and if the women's match is anything to go by, then most of this 3.5 hours will be filled up by entrances. Naomi even got the full time on hers, and every time I see that entrance, all I can think of is, oh god, those poor 2K17 animators. This was the Team Raw vs Team SmackDown traditional Survivor Series match, the first one of 3 on the card. Right off the bat, they rectify what I thought was the most dunderheaded thing on the entire card, well, one of them. Keeping Natalya off of a show that you're hosting in Canada is just asking for trouble. Fortunately for her and the crowd, Nikki gets taken out backstage. But by who, I wonder? Who had the most to gain from Nikki Bella not getting to wrestle at Survivor Series? Well, I know. We'll have Natalya investigate after she's taken her place in the match. This was actually a really fun match where the competitors really brought in extra physicality to the pay-per-view environment. Charlotte finishes Natalya with a vicious boot. Sasha almost decapitates Natalya with a diving pair of knees. It was almost a strong style match there last night. Even now, the women's division, this far ahead from the whole women's revolution thing, is still progressing, and it's great to see. Carmella is actually the first surprising eliminatee? Something like that. Anyway, she was felled by Alicia Fox, who was surprisingly not terrible in this match. Pretty decent actually, so yeah. Well done, Alicia. Maybe she'll even get more time on the program now, where she can show us what she can really do. Sasha also gets rolled up in a pin in surprising fashion by Natalya, but Raw take the victory after Bayley pins Becky. Not appreciating losing the spotlight, however, Charlotte passes on a post-match beatdown straight to the huggable one. Next, it's the new Intercontinental Champion, The Miz, versus Sami Zayn. It's good to see Zayn get a title match on one of the big 4, even if it's only because he's a Canadian and wrestling in front of a Canadian crowd. He goes over like wildfire. He does get screwed out of the title with some Maurice action once again, a concept that is honestly getting quite tired by now. But the main thing for me here is that I'm not really certain what they're doing with the belt at this point. I guess Dolph losing it was just something to make SmackDown 900 feel special. But these short reigns don't exactly lend the belt any credibility. I really thought that he only got the belt to lose it to Zayn, and they didn't want to pin the loss on Ziggler. Shame on me for thinking that a creative decision was done with respect for Dolph Ziggler in mind. But once again, really great work from both competitors. It might not have been one of the matches of the year that Zayn is capable of having with someone like Nakamura or Kevin Owens, but it says something that I didn't spend the entire match lamenting that Ziggler wasn't a part of it. I do think it sucks though that he wasn't anything to do with Survivor Series, especially as a couple of years ago he was the main guy on one of the cards. Anyway, back to the Survivor Series matches, and this time it's the tag teams. Enzo and Cass use their time to give the crowd exactly what they want. Local references that I can't even hope to get without Google Translate. I don't talk Bizarro. A little Jerry Lawler humour for you there. Team SmackDown certainly seemed to be the weakest of the two divisions, and it shows here in the sheer teams that they've had selected for this match. If WWE had done a better job of adapting the Vaudevillains or the Ascension to the main product, we wouldn't have ticker-tape tag teams here like Breezango or Heath Slater and Rhino taking up precious space. Yeah, that's right, I still give less of a damn about Heath's imaginary offspring than Brock Lesnar does. At least Breezango get the boot in 5 seconds flat, but bizarrely, New Day are eliminated just seconds after. Maybe this was to make the numbers more manageable and to give the other tag teams a chance to shine after, New Day have been champions for well over a year at this point. But those chances to shine, in my opinion, should go to Gallows and Anderson and American Alpha, the two best tag teams in their respective divisions. But in their infinite wisdom, they give those chances to the Usos and Cesaro? Same? No, none of these portmanteaus are working. Let's just stick to Cesaro and Sheamus. This match had some great acceleration to it, but by the time the two teams were left, you really saw why these were the guys who were given the final spots. When it was just down to the two of them, their segment could have been considered to be one of the tag team matches of the year, certainly as far as WWE is concerned. All four men, especially Cesaro, my god, Cesaro looked amazing in this match, looked like they picked up a couple of espresso shots to give them an adrenaline boost. They looked wired. They were constantly escalating the moves and the pace. Even the submissions looked turbocharged and had their crowd on their feet. Sheamus and Cesaro beat the Usos in a fantastic finale to a series that I suppose, this is their success story as a tag team because of their place on the card, because of their star status. They have to be title contenders. But when you consider that the New Day, the Club, Enzo and Cass are running for the same titles, I just don't see room for them in this division. Eventually they are going to have to split up and go back to feuding with each other, and hopefully after that, these two conjoined twins will find some way to separate themselves from each other. Also, I get the feeling that the New Day's quick exit is setting up some kind of doubt as to New Day breaking Demolition's record, but they've got to break it surely. I mean, you can't have Demolition keeping that kind of a record in WWE, can you? Kendrick and Kalisto are next, and during the pre-show, they actually had this confrontation in the back that made me uncomfortable. It was concerning Kalisto's mask. Can I ask if we can just stop doing this? Can we stop acting like masks haven't been a part of wrestling for as long as wrestling's been around? This whole crap about Latino wrestlers using their masks to have imposters wrestle for them, that's as paranoid a complaint as voter fraud in America. But as far as their actual match is concerned, this is the kind of fast-paced, athletic action that people were hoping for from the division that I can't say that I haven't missed it. I may appreciate the rest of the guys bringing a more technical game to the division, but it doesn't mean I don't appreciate this. Another two great wrestlers bringing their A game to the Big Four, really upping the ante. Brian Kendrick hits the captain's hook from the top rope, driving Kalisto's head into the canvas in a way that looks like it could have killed him. The finish keeps the status quo. Baron Corbin comes in to disqualify Kalisto. Raw keeps the division, but 205 Live is on a Tuesday. Explain that to me with your precious logic. I'm not sure I get it, and I think this was a bit of a downer considering the quality of that match as a whole. Next, it's the male competitors' turn to have their traditional Survivor Series tag team matchup. And the first names we get to see out of all these supposed main eventers, the Jobber Ellsworth and the Commissioner Shane McMahon. Now, you guys know I don't get the whole Heath Slater thing, so how do you think I feel about Ellsworth? I mean, he can be a part of the show, I have no problem with that, but in the main event level, it's like having Mr. Bean on the card, and he takes talents like Dean Ambrose and drags them down to his CBBC level. And as for Shane, he should be nowhere near a WWE card, now or ever. Telling your opponent to put you through plate glass does not a wrestler make. I die a little inside whenever a crowd tells him, you still got it. Don't kid yourselves, he never had it. He's not even the first one out of the team either. That honour goes to Dean Ambrose, sacrificed to the might of Braun Strowman. But he's there for one reason and one reason only in that match. To be the good little performing monkey he is, and say a Hail Mary and jump off of something high and onto something hard. He does this by putting Braun Strowman through an announce table. Strowman can't beat the 10 count, and it isn't because of Shane's elbow, it's because of James Ellsworth keeping hold of his foot. How the fuck did that stop Braun Strowman? The man must weigh as much as an SUV. Still though, afterwards he did stomp on the little insect, and hopefully that'll be the last we see of him, at least for a little while. And this match didn't quite have the sheer utter chaos of the previous bats, at least not at first. This one's a bit more of a slow burn, it takes a little more time, but the sheer length gives it a sense of the epic. This was almost 50 minutes long. This one had so many parts and so many storytelling mechanics going on. It's not pretty, but it's a beauty. There was a Shield reunion. Randy Orton sacrificed himself for Bray Wyatt, solidifying his connection to the Wyatt family. And Shane McMahon, someone tried to murder him. Yes, Shane McMahon attempts to hit Roman Reigns with the Coast to Coast or the Van Daminator, and Roman hits him high and slams his head into the canvas with a spear. And nobody knows what's up at time of writing, but he left the arena looking like he had no idea where the hell he was. Now, as this is a Canadian crowd, they go mental for the Canadian legend Chris Jericho and for the new champion, their boy Kevin Owens. So when the match comes down to Roman versus Bray and Orton, you can smell the bitterness in the air as the crowd anticipate Roman burying two of the best performers in the company to set him up for WrestleMania glory. Suddenly, no one is responding to Let's Go SmackDown with Let's Go Raw. Everyone wants SmackDown to win this one. But, you know, maybe there's a silver lining in all of this, and the fact that Roman Reigns is now guilty of almost killing Vince's son in order to eliminate him from a Survivor Series match, maybe this is the thing that gets his push killed off? But then again, if drugs couldn't do it. Fortunately, Bray gets the biggest win of his entire career by putting away Roman after Randy lays down his life for him. It kind of reminded me when Ziggler, another underappreciated talent, got the win at Survivor Series for Team Cena. I guess this whole new Wyatt family thing is the real deal, at least until Mania when he inevitably turns on him. And that was the cherry on top of an amazing cake. Layer after layer of thick, satisfying sponge. I might not have had the results that I would have preferred tonight, but what I got instead was this chaotic and unpredictable rollercoaster of a show. This was something that had me on my toes and on my feet. I wasn't expecting much from tonight, but they delivered the best WWE pay-per-view of the year, and the only one worthy of Big Four caliber, and that's what we should all be talking about. But that's not what we're all talking about, is it? No, see, I'm British, so I skip the whole 4 AM bedtime to watch Survivor Series in the morning, and like I said, I wasn't expecting much, so I thought, you know, go to bed, wake up, early rise, that sort of thing. But when I woke up, the news on my social media accounts and on my alerts and in my mentions decrying this pay-per-view were completely unavoidable, you know, saying it was a waste of money and a reason to cancel the network. And why were they saying this? Because Goldberg versus Lesnar lasted 2 minutes, and Goldberg squashed Lesnar. Yep. The Beast Incarnate. The Conqueror. I can't be bothered. Brock Lesnar. Squashed by an injured 49-year-old who hasn't had a fight in 12 years and who can't do a simple grab without falling on his ass. The man who beat Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. The man who destroyed the man the company have spent the last 11 years building themselves around. The man who squashed the entire Shield, world champions to a man, one by one over the course of an entire year. The man who carved his initials into Randy Orton's forehead using nothing but his elbow was made to look like a fool. As far as I'm concerned, Brock Lesnar's reputation in wrestling is all but destroyed. And not only is his reputation destroyed, but the reputations of everyone he's ever worked with in the past 3 years. You know, they all look like children now, squabbling over petty prizes. You know, that Brock Lesnar himself rendered obsolete. I mean, who cares who the champion is anymore? The guys currently fighting over them would be destroyed in 3 seconds by either Lesnar or Goldberg, at least as far as WWE lore is concerned. Brock Lesnar has destroyed everybody, and Goldberg made a fool out of him. Oh god, if I die in a world where Goldberg has something over The Undertaker, I'm coming back as the girl from the fucking ring and killing you all. But where do they go from here? Goldberg is rumoured to be sticking around to the Rumble, but bet they want him for Mania. But could he even get there? The reason his match was only 2 minutes long, mostly, was because he was hurt. Will he be able to get healthy for the Rumble? Will he end up, being able to maintain his health all throughout the WrestleMania season? Will he end up like Sting, unable to finish the story he started due to injury? I cannot see this ending well. I can't see this ending in a way that leaves fans satisfied, much like how, in reality, we've all been really dissatisfied by how the whole Brock Lesnar beating The Undertaker story panned out. You know, and WWE, they've got us all screaming and hollering and our blood racing, but did they do it by making a good product? Or were we just all played like fiddles? And are we so numb that it doesn't matter to us anymore? Just feeling the sting of the blade is enough to keep us happy these days? Just to feel that rush? Is that the function that we're happy for wrestling to provide us? I think I'm having an existential crisis over this. Well, there you have it, folks. That was the SteelChair shot. Thank you for listening to all of my ramblings. Oh god, thank you for listening to this one, because this one was an ordeal. And please don't forget to like, to share, and subscribe. And comment if you agree or disagree. Check out the mag below, and I'll catch you all on social media.